All aboard.
Okay, this is the sisal I got. Now I bought the sisal rope, and I don't know if it's any different than the baling sisal. This is what I got from Walmart for $3. I just cut some lengths. Generally for the pine trees I didn't have to have but 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I'm gonna make this one a little wire. But you cut one little piece like this, and this is what I didn't like. When you twist that, you get 3 pieces. And when you twist this one, you get 3 pieces. Then you take this, I'm only going to show you on one of these, but I did a whole bucket of these things. But it takes some time. You see the little twisty turn in there? All I did was I straightened it up as much as I could. Just straighten it up, and then give it a quick twist on both sides. And you can see that it broke that sisal apart, and that was my method of getting this sisal into strings. Now do that about 1,000 times. Next thing you're going to need to get you is, I got this at Walmart, and it was in a pack of this copper wire, and it's 20 gauge. The guys said get 20 gauge. However, when you twist two 20 gauges together, it makes a little thin trunk. Didn't much care for that, but I probably would have went up a little bit, but the thicker you get, the harder it is to twist too. So, but I did get the 20 gauge. I made a couple of, I don't know if you can see them on the camera here. I put some nails through a board here, and this ain't rocket science or nothing. I just randomly made me over that nail and cut. Then I squeezed together the end here to make a little bit of a loop. Then I got these fancy aviation wires here, wire cutters, and everybody else was using vice grips. You twist that a little bit just to make a little bit of a loop. Then I'm going to set this in so. Put one side straight down and one side up. Then you just take some of this sisal and you start putting it on the tree. You can put as much of it as you want to, as thick as you want to, or as thin as you want to. Depends on what kind of tree, I suspect. And then I folded this over down the other side of this sisal. And I twisted the other end. I know you're not going to be able to see all of this, but I just twisted this end and made me a little loop on it. You can see that basically the sisal is pinched beneath the wires on both sides. Then I took my gun and I put it on the end of my wire here and tightened it up. Now the reason I didn't make this hook them to my nails and all is because when you get an angle, it wouldn't work that well, so I just held the pliers up off the bottom and started twisting it. Then I take it out. You can see that I have a tree, and I may have to square some of this sisal away a little bit. But it looks pretty ratty. and it looks pretty ratty there. Then for a pine tree, I just trimmed the top straight off. I'm going to make a birch out of this, or try to, so I'm going to cut it up close. And there's my birch tree, the beginnings of it. Okay, that's basically it. Okay, doing a little experiment with how to shape these birch trees. What I did was I just made me a kind of a scale picture of one off the internet here. And I took my armature here that I made, and I just kind of make sure that the shape kind of follows it a little bit. And this one here, I put a lot of sisal on it, and it's got a lot of extra in there. I'm not sure how that's gonna come out, but the other one I did was a little bit, I put a little bit less sisal on it and made them a little more like limish, to see how that's gonna do. And I don't know, that's my method of how to do it. Since I'm not an artist, I'm just trying to match it as best I can. I think a little bit more wiry may be the ticket than a little more bushy. I'm not sure how that's going to come out. Let me put some paint on it and look. Okay, I put some black paint on this thing, and it still looks a little bushy. It may be fine, and not really sure, but that's the black paint on it. Okay, just quickly, here's one of my pine tree armatures that I made. And what I did was, first of all, I sprayed it with this Rust-Oleum flat earth brown. I just sprayed it all brown to get the trunking all done. Next, went to Dollar General here and bought the cheapest Rave 5X Mega Freeze unscented. Let me spray this and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back with you. I just sprayed it. All I'm gonna do now is I have some green flock, which is basically my green blend. I'll show you here just momentarily. And I'm just gonna sprinkle some on this thing. Bounce it off a little bit, get the loose stuff, and you can see that it looks green. What I used in the sprinkler here was some green blend, which is fine green blend, and I used some 2mm and 4mm static grass. Just stuck it on there, and it just makes it a little more hairy looking, but it looks fine. Once I get the green on like I like it, I went and got this Krylon matte sealer, chalky finish, clear. It's basically a clear coat, and I just give it a good going over so it seals everything to it and it makes it one piece. Okay, clear coat's on there. This tree is completed. That's how I did the pine trees. On the birch trees and the aspen / birch, they look the same. They just had a little different, they white or gray kind of looking trunk. The first thing I did with these things was I painted the trunks on all these using some Mod Podge mix with some white acrylic paint, and I just put 2 or 3 coats on there. I just built it up to where it's a thick layer of white in here. Once that was all dried, then I took my again my flat earth brown and I sprayed the whole tree. You can get a little bit down onto here, but that's not going to matter a whole lot. Okay, on to these aspen / birch trees. I ordered this stuff, and this is supposedly the color. Boy, that looks a little radical, but let's go on trying this. Okay, back to the hairspray and my armature that I made of my birch tree. Let me hit it. Okay, it's got hairspray on it, and I've taken that stuff and put it in the in this container, and let's see what it looks like. Roll it around. There you go. The only thing I'm going to add is this clear matte. I'll spray it. Then I'm going to start getting all these trees done. Okay, full tray of aspen birch trees. I got to place them. Better do some homework first.